Hello, in this lesson we are going to look at a few more reasons why we need to break up with the dieting obsession for good. Now, I just wanted to start with quotes by Albert Einstein that says, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result." To break up with dieting for good, let's look at one of the reasons why it has become so normalized in our society to diet. And this may be down to the dieting culture. Diet culture is a system of beliefs that we have in society where it equates thinness to health, happiness, attractiveness, or worthiness. It also stems from the belief that your appearance or body shape are more important than your physical, psychological, and general well-being. The reason why diet culture is so detrimental to us is because we have been consistently told that we have to eat a certain way and be a certain size to be healthy. Now, we have so much evidence that this messaging is toxic and not true because we are all so different. Our genetics are different, our lifestyles are different, and our medical histories are different. So how can we be expected to eat a certain way or look a certain way? This is where the thin ideal adds fuel to the fire. If you haven't heard about it before, it is the desire or pursuit of a slim or underweight body. No one is immune. Most people feel the societal pressure to look a certain way. This thin ideal is seen through almost any channel of social media, advertising, and the entertainment industry. And what it is doing is it is projecting this message that we need to keep up with dieting, weight loss, and fitness to look a certain way. The frustrating thing is that it also projects this idea that when you get there, you will be happier or more successful. Essentially, it is a completely made up ideal that is unattainable. So think about all the it girls over the decades, from Marilyn Monroe to Kate Moss to Kim Kardashian. It is constantly changing. So how is it hurting us? Well, it sparks our insecurities, promotes comparison, and reinforces this message that we are not enough, worthy, or can take up more space. This fuels greater body dissatisfaction, lower body image, and self-acceptance. And once we have internalized this ideal, it increases the pursuit of weight loss and shrinking our bodies, which can result in an increased risk of disordered eating behaviors. So how we take our power back is to be more conscious of the external inputs that we are looking at and by asking ourselves these questions. This is so that we can identify any ulterior motives or harmful intentions. We can ask ourselves questions like, who created this message and why are they sending it? Who owns and profits from this message? What techniques are used to attract and hold my attention? What is omitted from this message? What message is this image trying to send? And how does this message make me feel? By setting boundaries, this can help to reduce triggering the inner body critic, which we will discuss more in Module 2. Oftentimes, the pursuit of this thin ideal leads to weight cycling, which is when you go through periods of losing and regaining weight repeatedly over time. This is especially evident when you are yo-yo dieting or jumping from one particular diet to another. The research shows a strong pattern that most people cannot keep the weight off after 5 years, and that a significant amount of people end up regaining weight. Those that can keep it off, and those that can, have to use extreme and detrimental measures to do so. The consequences negatively affect your physical, mental health, and well-being. They also increase your risk for chronic inflammation, osteoporotic fractures, some forms of cancer, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, higher mortality, diabetes, gallstone concerns, binge eating, and the loss of lean muscle mass. So taking a step back, think about what are the other things you are cutting out when you are dieting. These are some of the common ones I hear in my clinic. They lose the energy to live. They lose the foods they love. Spontaneity with eating out and takeaway. The joy and pleasure from eating. Enjoying social gatherings. Autonomy and choice. Strength, flexibility, and stamina to do things. They could also be cutting out a deep connection to their body. Holidays and new foods. This means that to rebuild your relationship with food, we need to do something different. The first step is making peace with food. This means giving yourself unconditional permission to eat. The reason for this is because depriving yourself of something actually heightens your desire for it. Or there can be this false sense of control or winning every time you deprive yourself. Making peace with food also means that food choices do not reflect your character, worth, or value. Letting go of restriction can also reduce the intensity of guilt and shame associated with eating. Ultimately, making peace with food means that food was never the enemy, it is essential for our health, and doesn't have power over us. So to make peace with food, one of the first things we do is an activity to expand our safe foods, introduce them slowly, and figure out if we genuinely enjoy them. Once we do, accepting and making it available helps to reduce this fear. And this is all laid out in part 4 of the guidebook. And if you are in any doubt, please don't be hard on yourself. There are a few things to keep in mind that can make this process easier. The first is habituation. What this means is that foods don't taste the same or are not as appealing after a while. I like to imagine being on an island and being stuck with one type of food. Would you find it still appealing after a while? I don't think so. The other thing to keep in mind is that your self-talk can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So by not challenging, reframing, or letting go of self-talk, you could be inhibiting yourself from achieving food freedom. The key is to approach this activity with curiosity and as an opportunity to learn something new. This will help to build positive food experiences, which in turn creates self-trust and enhances your relationship with food. Let's imagine if you are starting to make peace with food and letting go of dieting. What could you potentially be adding into your life? Things like foods that allow you to feel your best, more time and motivation, the mental capacity to chase your dreams, a reconnection to your body, practicing more self-love and compassion, having foods that heal your body, learning body trust, coming into self-acceptance and enhancing your body image. So if dieting and weight cycling lead to poorer health outcomes, why do we keep trying? You can always shift your actions towards making peace, adding in, and achieving the health you desire. It is your body and you can set the rules. Thank you so much for listening to this lesson. I have activities that you can start putting into practice from this module's guidebook. And remember to please like, subscribe, or share this video with others who may find it helpful.